Here we are live with the wonderful, no, the fabulous Julie Bell.
Cade Mila Falcha.
Look at the Irish in her. And it's a Cade Mila Felcher from me and from Rachel and Melanie, the Virginians.
Howdy.
It's a howdy. Yes. So Julie just revealed to me that she's Irish heritage. And that minute she said it, I could see it in her face. So Julie, it's been a long time since we saw each other. Julie, can you think how long it is?
It's like what, 3 or 4 years at least, right?
You know what? I think it is 4 years because COVID was 2019. We heard about it in 20. So I didn't go after COVID. So it's 5 years.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Okay. It must be 5 years. But time, it means nothing to us, Julie. Every time I see you, it's like yesterday, and we just start talking again. So you're such a great person. And that in itself is such a wonderful thing to find, because not everybody is a wonderful person. You meet your heroes and you go, get me out of this room. But it wasn't the case with you. And the most welcoming people.
Well, same to you. You're lots of fun to hang out with, and we really much enjoyed having you at our house that time you came over, and we went out and had Irish food at that place, and you challenged that Irish guy. You're like, this is
challenged him. We challenged him, and he was left wanting, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Giving us that faux Irish food.
Yeah.
But he stepped up. He stepped up to the plate. He went out and he made it, didn't he? I think it was soda.
He did. That's right.
Yeah. Well, that'll teach him.
He knew he was trying to pull a fast one, so
that'll learn him, as we say in Ireland. And we went to vote. That's
right. Oh, that's right. You came with us to vote.
Yeah, that was really exciting. I got all excited about it. I wanted to vote, but I don't think I lawfully can, even though we look DNA similar. So yeah, we were talking just before about this picture of me and Julie and how we look so similar. And then Julie revealed to me that she's got Irish heritage.
Yeah, I'm part Irish and part, my other part of the family is from Barcelona.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
I did not. Hola.
Hola.
Have you been to Barcelona?
Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Me too. Sure. Me too. I love Barcelona. Here's something about Barcelona, Julie, and I have never met anyone that can confirm this, and I'm starting to think it's a fever dream. But at the port, I got on the scariest cable car ride of my life, where you can see the ocean sway and you have to jump onto it, and it's so creaky. All you hear is the wind and the frayed coils and the rust as you step onto this thing, and then it swings like this, and then it drops like 50 feet, and you move your way. Have you been on that?
No, I cannot. And I probably would not do that.
I'm gonna have to look into that. But I know that happened. It's not that long ago. I mean, it was a while ago.
Like interesting though. Yeah, I didn't know about that. I know the port you're talking about, but
yeah. Well, maybe they got rid of it because it's got a few minutes left.
Yeah.
It was like one coil away from being in the ocean.
Wow. Yeah.
I remember thinking, did children jump on this? It was terrifying. It would explain why there was no one else on it with us. Well, there's usually a queue for these things. It wasn't a joyride either. It was like, here's how you get from here to there. Anyway.
That's right. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
I didn't go on it, no.
Oh, you best not to. Yeah, so Barcelona, beautiful city. And there's a certain plaza in there. I was there for the New Year. And I was at the fountain, and suddenly people were throwing glasses in the fountain, and I was in the way of it like that. Nothing stopped the glass throwing. I had to run from it like that. Just watch yourself near fountains on the New Year.
Well, they really do enjoy their parties. They are really good at that.
Oh, they did that time. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, Julie, tell us about yourself. What's going on? Is there anything new in the works? And I'll leave it with you.
Well, I'm painting all the time, and I'm doing some work for Magic the Gathering, which is new for me.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
That's news.
That's fun. And I am doing this really big painting of Elric of Melniboné.
That's with the boat, isn't it, Julie?
Yeah. I did another painting of the same guy for a different client that was half that size. It was the one of him sitting on this ruby throne
Okay.
with a woman and a leopard.
Oh,
Um, yeah, so that was 4 feet by 6. This one, I've just taken two of those same panels and make it 8 feet by 6.
Holy cow.
Yeah,
wow.
So,
yeah.
how is it like, how'd you get working for Wizards of the Coast? Is that they found you?
They
I'm
did actually,
assuming.
yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I
And what is
actually
that process like? Like, how do you get working on a project and what kind of like outline do they give you for that?
they give you a pretty nice little description of what they want in the image, what character it is or whatever, what's the scene. And then, they do have a lot of their own reference material as a guide that they want to keep with it, like they want their world to look like their world.
Yeah.
And so they ask you to work with that guide. Now when I did my secret lair things, I did not that was not with a guide. That's something that you get to do your own thing. But the other, whatever else work other work I'm doing is with with their stuff. And so, anyway, yeah, they tell you what they want, and then you make sketches and get them approved and send in, and then do your work.
What's the
Kind of
whole process from like them contacting you to like you turning in a finished thing? How long does that take?
well, I mean, they generally have like as far as once like from when they first found me, then it might be a while before, when they first contacted me and said, would you be interested in doing work for us? That took a little while before the next step, which is an art director contacting me saying, this is what we want to do, and, that kind of thing. So it's just, honest to God, I haven't been doing it long enough to really know what the usual thing is.
Yeah.
So, but it's like once they give you what they want, once you've been assigned, a job and it has the description, then they'll give you like, I don't know, honestly, numbers are not my thing.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
of time in chunks of life, and so this
Yeah.
much life to do the sketch and that much life to do the painting.
That sounds like my timeline.
Are they asking for an 8 foot painting or
No, this is
is
not for magic. This big
oh,
painting is
okay.
not for magic. No, 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 no.
Okay,
This is
okay.
for an individual who lives actually in Cyprus, and he really loves this character. It's somebody that it's a character that really has captured his own imagination, and so he wanted me to do this painting. He saw the other painting that I did of the same character previously, and um, he had wanted that painting, but he didn't know that it was for a commission for somebody else. So yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah,
That's
it's a
cool.
separate
Yeah, I
thing.
really like all like the kind of organic stuff you've got going on
Thank
there.
you.
It's really cool.
Yeah,
Now,
I was really looking forward to that because this ship that they're on in the story, it's described as being made by nature. It wasn't made by people.
mm,
So I was like really like thinking of how I would want that to be. And it just made me think of like if it's made kind of like how driftwood looks, and then it's going to be having like seaweed and things with it too, but it's going to be looking like it's made by the ocean and forces of nature.
That's cool. I can see why he would want you to do that.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
really like the kind of natural element to your paintings,
Well,
like
thank
the
you.
animals and the way everything just fits together very organically, and that's something like I aspire to do with my art, like
Yeah,
capture whatever that is, and
you
that's
definitely will if you feel that way. Because I mean, to me, it's just like I just I look at everything in nature all the time when I'm just out walking my dogs or whatever. I'm constantly just intrigued by the way branches are twisted together or anything out there, dirt on the ground, the way rocks fit together, or whatever. So if you're looking at those things and thinking
yeah.
about them all the time, then it gets incorporated into you. And then just when you start your painting, just do it by just how it feels first, and then come back in after and apply more discipline to it later to bring it to whatever level of finish you want.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
Sure.
Did you want to ask one of your questions?
Well, we do. So, Julie, we get questions from the YouTube chat. So Chuck is asking, how big are the Magic the Gathering paintings?
Well, the biggest one that I did was this one of a unicorn, and I did that one really big just because I wanted to, and it's 4 by 5 feet, so it's
Oh,
really
wow.
big. But the other ones are more like, some of them are like 30 by 40, and some of them are 18 by 24.
Cool.
So they're just different sizes.
There she is.
Yeah, that was
Look
when
at
I was
that.
gathering my courage.
You were gathering your courage. You don't need courage. You're a
Oh,
warrior.
I do, man, all the time. I have to like, I have to jazz it up, you know, and get myself really like going excited for it. I have to talk to myself a lot. Yeah.
No kidding, Julie. I did not see that in your inner workings at all. You're so
Yeah.
confident.
Huh.
Wow.
Well, I hide it well.
You do. Well, you're hiding it well there. Look at you go. And I was thinking, you know, when Rachel was talking about the organic boat, I saw in there, because I've been watching your progress forever, what I consider Julie-esque moves, the Julie-esque flow of paint. I mean, that must be so wonderful to do, especially at a big scale like that, to get
It
those
is so
big
fun.
brushes out.
Yeah, even if you were not going to make a painting for any purpose, I recommend just getting a gigantic board and just doing that. And even if you paint over and over and over the same board every day, just do that as
Yeah.
like instead of yoga, do that, you know?
Yeah, like streams of consciousness. That's what
Yeah.
it feels like.
Yeah,
It's
just putting the
meditative.
paint with the big brush, and like one of my brushes was 12 inches wide.
Yeah, really. I'm looking at this
Yeah.
one as the biggest. Oh, you got me all competitive now, and I'm not even slightly competitive. I'm not even
That's a big
slightly.
brush.
There's not a spirit of competitiveness in me, but the big brush did it. The big brush did
Yeah.
it. I'm gonna have to get a big brush out now.
Yeah.
I like your shirt in that picture, Julie. Is that those UFOs?
They are
Yeah,
UFOs.
right.
That's
They're
UFOs.
taking cows up into their ships.
What made you buy that, Julie?
Oh, it's so funny. What happened is that, so this is a little bit of a story.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
It started with this wolf t-shirt that I had that it was my favorite wolf t-shirt, and I wore it all the time. I still do have it and I still wear it. But what happened is that I went on a trip to Texas actually to visit my
Yeah.
family. And on the way back, the flight it was all this massive, like nightmare of a flight back where you get stuck in a town and baggage gets separated and all
Oh,
these
no.
different things. It was just really a mess. And by the time I got home, I was just really exhausted. And I came in and I just put my stuff down. I didn't even really unpack it or anything like that. But I went just right to bed because I was so tired, because the whole night before I hadn't had any sleep, and I'm a real baby if I don't have any sleep.
Me too.
So anyway, I woke up in the morning and I was looking for that shirt for some reason. I just all of a sudden I thought, where's that shirt? And so I couldn't find it in my suitcase. And I got it in my head that somebody had stolen my favorite t-shirt out of my bag. And I was like, that's crazy. They went in my bag and they took my t-shirt. And then I called the airport and I was like, my t-shirt's gone. And, it was my favorite one. It's just this really silly little t-shirt. But anyway, I just was obsessed with this for like a few days. And then I went online. I was like, I'm going to find another one just like it and order it. And so I went online and I did find that shirt again. And I got 2 of them because now I'm like going to hoard them.
Yeah.
And then I also saw that shirt that I was wearing, and then a couple of other wolf t-shirts that I really love. So I got a whole bunch of extra t-shirts to soothe myself. And then the next thing that was so funny is after I got all these t-shirts, I went to go do laundry and it was in the laundry. And so apparently what had happened is that when I got home, I just I was wearing it and I didn't even remember that. And I took it off obviously and put it in the laundry. I was so tired that all this just was a blur. So anyway, I ended up with a whole bunch of extra t-shirts.
It's good the future proof. It's good the future proof. I knew it was going to be in the laundry. I saw that.
Yeah, did you?
I met because I do that all the time. I do it all the time. It's always in the laundry, Julie. It's always stuck to the side of the drum.
See, the one I'm wearing in this picture is another one I got from that same ordeal.
I
Well,
love
now
it
you're
as a
set for a
t-shirt. It's
while.
Yeah.
a t-shirt ordeal.
Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
create drama wherever we want. If you're creative enough, that ordeal. Are you okay now, Julie? Have you?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Especially once I found it, then I was like, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. I had a question about the animals that you're painting. Are you photographing these at a zoo? Like, where are you
Oh,
getting the references
Yeah,
from, or is
this
it just a combination of a bunch of things?
it's usually is I mean, I really definitely prefer to do my paintings from my own photos whenever possible. That leopard that you saw, actually all the animals in all these things are from my own photos um from the zoo, yeah. Or like the horses are from a stable that's nearby.
Okay. Okay, you ride horses? I see a lot of the horse stuff.
I used to when I was like a teenager and but I don't really ride anymore. Honestly, I feel kind of funny. The idea of riding them is it's like, do they really want that? The horses, I don't know.
You're just trying to make friends with them?
Yeah, I like to just see them and be around them and you know, just like you wouldn't ride a dog just because they're there.
Yeah. I
But
mean, I don't know if the dog was big enough, that'd be kind of cool.
it would be, but maybe with a dog, I could feel like I could ask it if it wants it. I think a horse,
Yeah.
I don't have that good of a communication with that I
Yeah.
could ask it. And I
Julie,
think they're so used to being ridden that they maybe don't think about it. I don't know.
Julia, I have a confession.
Yeah,
We're both from Ireland.
yeah.
When I was a kid, we always used to ride the dog down the street. There was a big dog down the street, and all the kids would ride it, and it didn't seem to mind. It would come to us, and we would all get on its back, and it would ride us around.
Dogs are so amazing. They're so tolerant, right?
That one was.
That's hilarious.
It did eat my tortoise, though. There's so many other
Oh,
no.
stories. Yeah.
Whoa.
I says, Rex, what are you eating my tortoise for? And there it was so friendly, letting us all sit on its back and everything. At my tortoise.
oh.
No, I didn't. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring everybody down. But Julie, I saw up here the bodybuilding days of June.
Yeah, I was gonna
And I
ask
know
about
that
that a little
because
bit.
Melanie had some questions earlier about bodybuilding, and I was doing the old man stuff. I says, "You watch those heavy weights, girl. They can come back to haunt you later." I was doing all that stuff. Julie, are you finding anything coming back to haunt you from those bodybuilding days?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I definitely would say protect your knees.
The
Protect your
knees.
knees. You're gonna really appreciate them when you get older.
Yeah.
That's the part where I really wish I had been a little bit kinder.
Yeah.
And, other than that, I haven't really, and even with my knees, honestly, if I don't exercise too much or too little, even though I definitely do have arthritis in my knees, which probably everybody does when they get past a certain age,
Yeah, I'd say.
they just don't hurt because, I mean, today I went running. I can run, a couple miles and enjoy that. So I can do the things I want to do. I'm not, not saying I wrecked them, but I really did hurt my knees a lot.
How'd you get into like professional bodybuilding? Okay,
Well, it
you went
wasn't
to art school?
professional. It wasn't
Did,
professional. I
okay.
was at the national level of amateur bodybuilding. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
'Cause
And I just got into it. Originally I had always been an athletic person growing up and everything, and I used to do gymnastics and dance, like ballet and tap dancing and that kind of stuff. And I just always really enjoyed being very fit and athletic, and I would climb trees a lot. I could do chin-ups and all that stuff when I was a kid. And actually, my ex-husband bought a set of weights for himself, which he really didn't end up using, but they were in our house, and I just started, kind of fooling around with them and doing chin-ups um, and I just got
then
it's
you
just
got
turns
buff.
on you. Yeah, it just gets into your head and you enjoy it more and more. And I could work out at home. For the longest time I worked out at home. I didn't even go to a gym. I actually was in like 3 bodybuilding contests before I ever even went to a gym. So then I decided to take it a little, like, you get a little bit more serious all the time. And the gym that I went to was a real like serious powerlifting gym. So I got into really kind of heavy lifting, heavier than I should have for my bone structure. But I just love it. I just love it. You love it, Patrick, right?
I do. I love it. But that's my cautionary tale is my poor old back. But yeah, I love it. I love the feeling of muscles being used. I just love
Yeah,
it. And do you
yeah,
find, Julie, that it helps you with your painting as well, where you understand the anatomy better?
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure it does.
Because I was just
Yeah,
admiring
I
your
was.
bicep tendon there. That was a lovely tendon. You know, when people get, we won't say the words for it, but it starts with an S. You don't see so much of the tendons in most of the bodybuilders, but on you, the tendons are really long and right
Hmm.
there. And the corticoid brachialis that the Virginians will be admiring along with me.
I see
You know, it's great.
it.
There's that big tendon. Look at those tendons right there. We tend not to see them so much. And so that's why I was asking, because it sounds like vanity, but I have a mirror so I can see the muscles contract. And I go,
Yeah,
wow, look at that. That's helping
yeah.
me a lot. Yeah.
It's fascinating. I remember when I was a little kid, the first time I noticed a muscle, my quadricep muscle, and I didn't know what it was really. And I said to my father, like, look at this lump. What is this? When I go like this with my leg, it goes like that, and he
Yeah.
was like, that's your muscle. So I don't know.
Isn't that amazing, Julie? Because I had the
Yeah.
same experience. I remember
Did
as
you?
a kid, because we had no muscles. I remember looking at my quads when I was a kid because we had high socks and shorts. And I went, look at my muscly knees. Because most of it was just bones. But I remember loving my knees. I went, look at my lovely knees. And I could,
Yeah.
you can contract them like that and watch the muscle.
Yeah.
It's the first muscle you see, isn't it?
Yeah. I guess
I,
so. Yeah.
yeah. I thought they were brilliant. Show my knees
Yeah.
to people. Such an exhibitionist. Julie, you were in such brilliant shape. That's amazing to see right there. And it makes
Oh,
me think that anything you do, you'll do it to the best. That seems to be who you are.
it's yeah. I mean, I really do like to try my best to do whatever. I'm sure you're the same. I know you are.
A little bit,
You
Julie.
know,
I've got less competitive as I got older. In the
have
old
you?
days I used to,
Well,
oh yeah.
I
I used
had
to run.
to.
I used to, yep.
Yeah, I try to be smarter about it because you can really hurt yourself with that,
Yeah.
right?
I used to run backwards in the trek events. I used to run backwards and poke my nose at the kids like that.
Well,
And they
hey,
were,
Patrick,
yeah,
running backwards now, get back to it because let me tell you,
really?
that will make you have healthy knees. I
Is
do
that
that.
no kidding?
I run backwards in a backyard. Back and forth.
It's a really nice feeling, isn't it? There's something
Yeah.
really joyful about it. I
Well,
remember,
it also it makes your knees stronger.
yeah, and it's really, and it's when you go, do you do circles? I do circles so I don't hit anything.
I just go back and forth
Back and
because there's,
forth.
yeah,
I get so intoxicated by running backwards, I can't stop. It's
yeah.
like this weird kid. He's just always running backwards. There he goes. It's the reversed Forrest Gump. Look at him. He's going backwards again. It was like that. But yeah, it's strange how we change, isn't it? Because yeah, that question you asked, I have become less competitive. I've become less of that person. I don't know why, but it doesn't. My love for art has never changed. It's
I
never
think
changed. You know?
as you get older, first of all, you're like you're more happy with your life, right?
Yeah,
And you feel like, I don't know, I just think that when you're caught up in being competitive, you're not really thinking of like, I don't know, you just don't feel as comfortable with your own self. I think the more
yeah,
comfortable you're with your own self, the
that's
less
it.
competitive you're gonna be. Yeah.
That's
There's
the
a
answer.
comparison.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's it. Judy, I love this tiger, and there's
Uh,
another tiger as well. I think your tigers are the best tigers I've ever seen. And you
Oh,
talk,
thank you.
and that's what we remember. We did the rehearsal, and it wasn't supposed to be a rehearsal. It was supposed to be live. And I says, it's not hyperbole. You are not the hyperbole, Julie Bell. You are the incredible Julie Bell, and there's no hyperbole to it. So I really do believe that you are the best tiger painter I've ever seen. Just
Oh, well,
Yeah.
thank you.
it's just
Yeah.
it's
This
not
one
just
is
it's not just a
yeah.
copy. you have chosen where to not put so many hairs in and where to put in some, shadow that's fading into something else that has more detail. It's just gorgeous. I love it.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I like to also whenever I'm painting animals, I don't want it to look like it's the same tiger repeated, as a composition. I really see these are individuals when I photograph them, and I
Ah,
remain, I wouldn't want to just take a picture of a tiger and then put it all together as if it was 5 tigers or something. It
yeah,
shows, it's like if you had 5 people, it's going to look like, if it's the same person over and over again and you just try to disguise it, you can kind of do that, but it's so much better if you have 5 different people, because
yeah.
there's all these little things. And the same thing with any animal, they're all so unique.
I
There's
think
some
that's why your stuff has
brilliant-
like a certain realness to
Yeah.
the animals, especially.
Thank
And
you.
they have their own story to them too. Like they're
Yeah.
not just, it's not just a tiger. It's like the tiger's got some kind of story to
He's
it.
got a family and everything.
Yeah, he's got a wife and kids.
That's a great insight. That's a great insight.
Yeah.
And that's what this podcast's about as well, Julie, is that, for like younger artists and kids that are just coming up and wondering how they're not finding their path. And that's a great insight that I often say that if you're trying to be the other person, then you're not going to be your own person. And
Right.
that little insight there about understanding that the tigers have their own personalities would be outside the purview of practically everyone in the world. And if we can just have that, there's that one gem there from Julie. Think about that. Think about that. And there's one more elevation up to where you want to go. That's what we're looking for, Julie. We're looking for those.
Aw.
We're mining for them gems. We're mining for them. And my wee woman asked I says, have you any questions for Julie today? And because she loves your work too. And she's not an artist. She's a teacher. And she just loves your flamingo paintings. It's just
Oh,
that
that's
for them.
neat.
And she said to me, ask Julie about her flamingo paintings. I think it was that vague. So I'm just going to have to say that's her question. Julie,
Yeah.
what about your flamingo paintings?
Yeah, why flamingos?
There you go.
I just, I did one to begin with quite a while back of my daughter-in-law, David. David Palumbo is my son,
Yeah,
and his wife
brilliant
is
artist.
Zankina. And I did a painting of her with some flamingos. She wasn't really sitting on them the same way, but she was with flamingos. And I just really got to enjoy so much the colors of them and the way their feathers worked, and like the patterns, the way their feathers fit together. I never knew all that until I started painting them. And then I thought, gosh, I don't know, I just kind of thought it'd be so cool to just have like this big cloud of flamingos that the woman is just there. And it's like, how is she sitting there? We don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't care about reality, whatever, just put some, like, it's flamingo-ish stuff, and then there's flamingos there with her, and they're all just, having this experience of joy and comfort and beauty and luxury all at once.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's
It's a dream,
awesome.
isn't it? It's like your best dream you've ever had, isn't it? Right there on the
Mhm.
canvas. It's beautiful. I loved it too. Because Julie, there's been many times when I've seen your paintings, and then there seems to be this giant leap into something new and fresh. And this was one of them, the flamingo one.
Oh,
I remember going, oh, and it made me think, I've got to fly all the way back to your lexicon just to see a flamingo painting. Even
yeah.
just to see the painting, because there's nothing like the painting. No matter, even that I've got my big glossy screen here. I
Yeah,
know if I go to a LuxCon, I'm going to get a double wow, because
it's totally different. Yeah.
you gotta see the original paintings. You gotta
Mhm.
see that transparency all the way through. It's gorgeous.
There's so much more color and everything with the original work of any artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the depth, it's always the depth, isn't it? Things seem so
Mhm.
flat until you see the depth of an oil painting.
Right.
Yeah, oil's the king of paints, as Boris there. Great.
Yeah.
Julie, I gotta say, when I know it's like making it all about me, but I don't mean to. But when I went to meet you guys, honestly, you don't know what I was feeling inside. I was so excited. I was trying not to be excited. I was trying the whole time not to scream. whole time. And when you brought me into the studio to see you where you guys paint, inside I went, I didn't want to make that noise.
Well, you kept yourself under control very
Did
nicely.
I? Did it not show? I felt it was showing all the time. But it was so wonderful to go and meet you.
You guys paint in the same room? Like, do you have
Yeah.
two separate studios or just one
No,
big
it's the
room?
same, it's the same room,
Oh,
yeah.
that's
No,
awesome.
my big giant painting is in a separate area, you know, because it doesn't really fit in the studio, so.
Okay. And like I don't know, I'm fascinated. So like are y'all like playing music, working together? Like you're working in there the whole day together? Like what's a day of work look like for you, I guess?
Yeah, yeah, we just, you know, we go in and we sit down and take some tea or something with us and um have music. We definitely have music all the time. We switch days of who chooses the music. Boris always wants to have classical, which I love. And over the 35 years we've been together, he's taught me so much about classical music and musicians. So I've learned I've got a whole musical education from him. But he also didn't know anything about popular music. And so he didn't even know the music of David Bowie or different, you know, like
No
people that are
kidding.
just,
Wow.
yeah, like normal, like everybody knows all these things. And he had never really learned to hear, like he had never listened to it because he always only listened to classical. So
Wow.
every other day I play my music and then he plays his music the next day. And so it's been really fun for us to share our music with each other.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Like things that like you can do together and I don't know. There's not very many like couples, I guess, that have had such a insane career as you two. Like I can't really name another one where it's like two artists and then you work
Yeah.
together on these paintings too, which is awesome. It's inspirational.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable, like just so perfect. And I never would have imagined before that I could ever have such a great, wonderful, you know, better than any dream of a life as to be in that marriage and this, you know, have this art career, my family, my kids, everything is just like, you know,
Yeah, your
yeah, and the
kids, you've
fact,
like spawned more out of it.
no, not
Now,
with Boris. Yeah, I've got
yeah, yeah, but
two
there's
of
still
mine and he's got his two. So yeah, yeah, and my two sons, you know, we really are very close. They come here all the time, and um, you know, they're also professional artists, so we all share all that, and it's just amazing.
Yeah.
and Boris's kids are both professional too,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, so
mhm,
that's four kids. Yeah, it's just crazy that that's such
yeah,
a rare thing.
it
Yeah.
is.
And they're all brilliant artists too.
Yeah, yeah, they're
Another
all
thing
very,
is,
very good.
well, yeah, another thing as well that when I went to America, you know, I'm this lost soul. But when I went to see you and Boris, of course there was, you know, the rest of the family as well. And they were just wonderful. Everyone was wonderful. And meeting Dorian as well, you know, just such nice people. You rarely get a family that are that happy together.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you go to Ireland, there's always a fight at the end of the night. You know, so, so I'm so civilized. I really enjoyed everybody. I enjoyed hanging out with everybody in the Boris and Julie clan.
Yeah,
Julie, I'm looking at this giant thing, and I remember holding one of these guys. They're surprisingly light, aren't they?
yeah, it weighs like nothing. It was amazing.
They look
It
a
was like
heavy
a
thing,
little
don't they?
cloud.
So you've got an event tag. Where is this bird?
This was at EluxCon.
Who brought that?
Um, oh gosh, what's her name? She paints animals also. I'm trying to think of her name. You know who she is. She's got blonde hair. She dresses really cool. That's such a great description.
I'm getting there. I know who you mean. I know exactly who you mean, but I don't know her name.
Alessandra.
There
You
you
know,
go. She's quite
Alessandra
young.
Pisano.
Yeah, she's very young, isn't she?
Yeah, and the thing is that, yeah, she's very young and she has this boyfriend who has these birds. I don't think this was hers, I think it was his. And
Yeah.
they would go to like the Renaissance Fair and things like that and have like a show with their birds. and she would do like, she does kind of like belly dancing stuff. And then he has these birds and he would have them fly around and go in the audience and do things. And
Wow.
yeah, so we actually went, I don't know if it was at the same time. It might have been the next year after that or another time, but she invited us to come out to where they were practicing with the birds, and we got to go and hold some other ones too. Like, it was just very cool. Yeah, that's
That's
her.
her. That's her,
Yep.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I
And that
remember
was
her.
that day that we went out there when they were practicing.
Yeah, I remember her. She just came on basically as I was leaving. She came to I think the first one was the ones in Reading. I think that's the first time I saw her. But she
Yeah.
came
Same.
before then.
Hmm. No,
Yeah.
that was that one, and that one that you showed with me with the other owl. That was in Reading also, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's in Reading. That was in the
Okay.
back by the parking lot. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, I do. I remember it well.
Yeah.
It's that hippocampus thing, Julie. I remember everything about it. I remember every click of my heel at a LuxCon because it's such a big event for me, you know. I remember everything. There's Dave.
Yep.
Dave's really rocking the long hair there. That's
Yes. His
that's
hair's
grown.
not as long now, but I love his long hair.
That's growing. That has grown quite a bit since I saw him.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful family. Love hanging out
Thank you.
with you guys. That's beautiful to see a work in progress too. Look at that. Fantastic. All right, so Virginians, I always hog the show. Is there any questions? Maybe Boris.
Well, we have another one from Czech from YouTube.
Yeah.
Do you read the Elric books and other things that you were drawing from?
I did read the first Elric book, and I've started reading the second one, but really all the painting work I'm doing is from the first one. But I don't read all the books that I do paintings for. But I did want to read that one because um, I just became apparent how much people love this character, and I just had to know what's the deal with him, and so I really, really enjoyed reading the book. I've read it a couple of times now, and I recommend it to anybody who has any interest in fantasy at all or just a good story, because it's a beautiful book.
Do you read a lot of fantasy books? You said you
No,
just
I
no.
don't. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of books do you like to read?
I really am more of a nonfiction person, and I really like science a lot. I love, like, this sounds crazy, but let's say if you have a book about the composition of a cell, I just go nuts over that. I just love reading, like, how is that cell? It's like with all the parts to it, it's crazy,
Julie,
You
I'm the
read
same.
something like that, it's like that's wilder than any kind of book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the same. We got, you know how you get little packages with you buy a television and you all this stuff. And Curiosity Channel came with it. And I'm
Hmm.
just on that 24/7. I just
Yeah.
can't stop watching Curiosity Channel. Do you know the channel?
No.
I just love it. I feel so much smarter every day, even though I don't get all of it. Quantum physics, don't understand a thing about it, but boy, do I feel like it though. I
Yeah.
love reading and watching it. Yeah, I'm the same. It's not weird.
Yeah. It is interesting. And it's also like, I don't know if you've seen this in your experience, but so many doctors and people who are into science like that wish they were artists,
Julie,
or
all the time.
right? Isn't that funny?
All the
I
time.
think there's something about like science and art that really, like, it's all about, observing things
Yeah,
and finding patterns and that kind of stuff. I think it's a very similar something that happens.
And like
Julie.
appreciating how things work and
Yeah,
how they're made and
Yeah,
why they're made the way they are, because
right.
everything is designed, like
yeah.
or
Yeah,
grown or
exactly.
created. Yeah. And
That's
I
just
think people who like get into oh sorry. I think people who get
okay.
into figurative art, like one of the things that draws them into it is like you're trying to learn how this thing works that we all have.
Yes.
Yeah,
And just being a person too, you're kind of applying like just whatever you've got into it when you're expressing yourself with it. And I think a lot of people who get into like figurative art, it's like they think a little bit more like that.
Yeah, I agree with you
yeah.
for sure.
That's a zinger moment. That's a zinger moment. Because now you've taken that idea that I had every time I teach a live class, I'd say, Julie, 40% are medical people. They're retired doctors, for instance, because they always come up to me and they say, "Don't tell anyone I'm a doctor." And I say, "Why is that?" And he says, "Because they'll say, 'Look, I've got this or I've got that, and can you look at this?'"
Oh, yeah.
You know, no, they're just going
Annoying.
to they're just going to be a doctor all the way through the class for free.
Yeah.
And that's how I found out they were doctors. And I thought, how many doctors are coming into my class? And it's just endless. And so I'm glad they became doctors. Otherwise, we'd all be sick because all
Yeah.
they wanted to be was an artist. And they had to wait for retirement to be an artist. And they come in
It's
retired to my
really
classes.
interesting.
Look at
Yeah.
that. Look at
Yeah.
that. Amazing. I just wanted to stop at this photo because I think it's so brilliant. I
I
think
love that photo.
that is the
Yeah.
coolest photograph of two artists I have ever seen. And when history documents everything, that's the photo that should be on the front cover.
I
It's
agree.
it's almost like
David took that picture.
I tell you what, it's all come together for Dave there as a journalist. That is
Yeah.
fantastic. Look
Yeah.
at you. Look at the camera. Look
I
at
know.
that. If people
It's
could
so good.
people could only dream of being that cool looking back on them. Isn't it amazing? Fantastic.
I love it.
I
That's one of
love
my
it too.
favorite pictures. Yeah.
Which country is that, Julie?
That's in Italy.
Yeah, I thought
That
Italy
was
to start with.
that was in Rome.
Yeah, I didn't recognize the building at all in the background there. That's why I had to ask.
I
Can you
forget what
remember?
it's called. It was a bridge that we were crossing.
Oh, it's a bridge. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't recognize it because I love Rome. And hopefully we'll catch up in Rome sometimes if, and I can't say too much because things are, you know, protected intellectually and stuff. But you know who I'm talking about with the miniatures. Hopefully one day.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Hopefully we'll meet in Italy as well because I've been to Poland and the Netherlands twice with those great people. We can say Mindworks,
Yeah,
with Mindworks, our association with Mindworks.
sure.
And the first thing we talked about was the three of us all ending up in Italy together.
Hmm.
That's what I was talking to Matteo about when I was I think that was Eindhoven, strange place in the Netherlands. So hopefully that'll happen, Julie, because that would
That
be,
would be, I hope so too.
because I don't want to spoil the photo, but I want to take this guy out, so a bit of Photoshop and stick my little smiley face in there. So I'm part of it. Maybe we'll set up the same scene again. Look at this. Julie, I am starting to really love your because I don't want to go out of the fantasy world, but I'm really starting to feel I want to see more and more of your wildlife paintings.
Yeah, like animal fantasy
So
almost.
much. Look at that.
So many things I want to paint, it's
Look
crazy.
at that. That
I was in
and
love with that little deer. It was so pretty. That was I was in a zoo in Tucson, Arizona.
wow. Look at the aura. Look at this little corona of gold here. Watch this, kitties. This doesn't happen by accident. Look at those. So staring there, wasn't I? Look at this corona. Look at it. Look at that not quite crisp edge that you get in digital work. Look at the softness of that. Wonderful. Oh, look at the multicolors in here. Look at those cools against the warms. Julie, it's a masterpiece.
Thank you.
It's gorgeous. I love it. And it has the Julie-esque stuff in the background there.
Yeah.
That abstract moment.
I like
Yeah.
it, the composition. He's all curled up like a
Oh,
little ball.
and you can feel the weight of it, can't you?
Yeah.
It's going to be
Thank
heavy
you.
to pick that little creature up, isn't it? You can,
I
it's
mean,
gonna,
maybe.
gonna struggle with its legs and stuff. It
His
won't be,
legs would be all like, whoa.
yeah. It won't be for Melanie and Julie, but I might have to do a little back stretch first before I lift that little critter up. Wonderful.
Thank
What
you.
the hell? I just didn't know what happened there.
What's going on?
I was out of my body there for a second. I was floating around like Kate Bush in the astral plane there going, what's happening? The world has changed. I was going to ask what music are you listening to? Because I brought you Kate Bush up there, Julie.
You mean in the background here?
No, when you're in the studio with Boris, what's
Oh.
your choices?
Well, I mean, I used to play CDs, of course, but now it's like I just put on a channel on like, Spotify or something.
Oh, yeah.
And I like things like music. I like all kinds of music. I swear to God, I just really like
Yeah.
so much. I like to experiment with different music, and I love the oldies. I love things like the zombies and
Yeah, the zombies.
this is that painting that
wonderful.
that I was mentioning of David's wife. Sorry.
I really
That's
like the
great.
composition, like the three beaks, like right around her head. Like
Yeah.
they're so nice. They're so nice. Like I was looking at how you designed just like the composition of the whiskers on the tiger. Like it's if you just like abstracted that, it would still be just interesting shapes going across.
Yeah.
Something I just
And
appreciate
it's like you
about.
think in terms of like ballet when you think of that when you make I do. And so it's like how like when you do ballet, like your hands make an energy, and your arms and your
Yeah.
eyes, the way they look and whatever. So it's like you see how ballet dancer is moving in space and everything, and that's like how I like to think of the composition. So anyway.
It's like music.
Another gem. Julie,
Yeah.
after this podcast, I re-edit it and I'll put
Yeah.
in here Julie's gems. And it'll have a big rocket sound or something. I'll work on that. So that the kitties don't skip past and realize
Good.
something really
Okay.
special just happened there. Because yeah, ballet dancers, how wonderful are they as models as well?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Incredible.
Yes, for sure.
Fantastic.
Got the next one.
Got another question from YouTube. From Preston Smith. First, he says he's been following your career for as long as
Oh, Preston.
I can remember, probably more than 30 years. I like to say you're one of my greatest inspirations in my own art. And you too, Patrick. Thank you
Thanks,
for all
Preston.
you do. And then he asks, do you enjoy comics? I remember you drawing a few of them.
Comics. Now, I've never drawn a comic book.
Oh,
Is that what he means? What does he mean?
he said you drawing a few of them. So I guess he
Well,
thought you did.
I did a lot of Marvel characters, a lot of paintings
Oh,
of
that's
Marvel
what it'd be. That'd be.
characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Marvel and actually for DC also, and Image Comics too. But when I was a kid, I used to make my own comics, and they were more like Mad Magazine kind of stuff.
Mad was hilarious, wasn't it?
I love Mad Magazine.
Me too.
Yeah.
Who was the artist who did those covers?
Well, there was a
Of the Mad
bunch of them.
Magazine? Who was it?
Mort
The one
Drucker.
who like made up the character for like Mad Magazine.
Mort Drucker. Mort Drucker.
Okay,
Mm.
okay, yeah.
And you know what the strange thing is? I think he was English. I just always thought he was American. I think he was English, Mort Drucker. How
Huh.
weird, isn't it? That's art for you. You can do it from anywhere.
Yeah.
Look at the colors in that elephant. Look at
Yeah,
that.
there was a lot of colors with the elephants. It was
Look at
interesting.
the
That was really
spectrum.
fun to paint. Lots of fun.
You
I
know,
want to do elephant paintings.
yeah, you know when you were saying, Julie, about riding the horse, and you don't think the horse, you didn't have the conversation with the horse to see if it would like that. I was riding an elephant in Thailand, and I wasn't happy with it. I don't want to ride an elephant again. I felt
Did you feel the same? Like you
Yeah, I
feel like,
did.
am I insulting this elephant?
I did.
Yeah.
I felt embarrassed for myself.
Yeah, that's
And-
what I mean. And I mean, I know we all think of horses as like that's natural to ride horses, but is it? I don't know.
Yeah, I was embarrassed. And
Yeah.
you know, my wee woman, the two of us were on the elephant at the same time, so it's double embarrassment. There's always funnier when there's two people, it's more embarrassing for some reason. And the woman she was hitting the elephant on the head with an iron pick.
What?
I know,
Wow.
to make it go left and right.
That's really sad.
Yeah, and you could see all the pits. I don't want to bring the whole podcast on, but my
Yeah.
wee woman had a fight with her. So how comical is that? Now we're having a fight on top of this elephant with another person on the front, and the elephant was getting the pick because it was eating bananas from a banana plantation. I mean, who's at fault here? You don't take an elephant through a plantation of bananas and
Right.
expect it not to understand you don't eat the bananas. So he was
Yeah.
having a good old chomp on the bananas while my wee woman was giving her hell for the pick, and she didn't use the pick at all for the rest, and we never rode another elephant.
Yeah, good.
So yeah, there I say don't ride the elephants. Brilliant
No.
elephants.
Yeah,
This is just
appreciate the
fantasy
animals.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at us, social warriors as well. We get everything on
I mean,
everything on this podcast.
yeah. I mean, you want to like, that's one thing that I know bothers me a lot, and I think bothers a lot of people is how we treat the animals on this planet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like,
I,
and so,
I
like, as
think
a greater message to just be a little kinder to the
yeah,
creatures,
more,
I think
more and
that's a
more
good
every
thing.
day. Yeah, more and more every day. I'm thinking about the genocide of elephants. How did we get here? The genocide of it, but it is. It's awful. I haven't
Yeah.
eaten red meat in forever. I'm not saying don't
Yeah,
eat.
you've been a vegetarian. How
Was
long
it?
have you been without eating meat?
Who are
Wait,
you
say it
talking?
again? Are
Pat
you asking?
Patrick, are you both
Oh,
vegetarians?
No, I haven't eaten red meat for probably 15 years. Julie, I
okay.
don't know if you're a vegetarian or not. I think you might be.
Boris and I both are pescatarian.
That's me. Me
Yeah,
too. Yeah,
fish. Yeah.
yeah. I'm the same. Oh no, I think they'll need a new word for me. I eat chicken too.
Okay.
What's that?
But I also won't eat octopus, even though it's a seafood.
Because
Oh,
it's smart.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just seems
Yeah.
wrong.
Mhm.
Yeah. You see the videos of like them just like in a container or something that
Yeah.
you can they're too smart. It's weird. Like they have
Yeah.
like their nervous system and brains goes into like every arm. That's why they move
Mm.
them
Yeah,
all
they're
individually.
they're strategists and everything. They catch things, they wait for them, and they lure
Right.
them in. They lure them in with
Yeah.
one
They
tentacle,
have
get them
like a
with another.
plan.
They have
Yeah.
a plan. Yeah.
I
There
mean,
is
that
a
takes imagination to make a plan.
yeah, oh yeah,
I
an
always think
interesting
that,
thing.
Julie. I always think that. I
Yeah.
think like we're humans, so we can make plans. I always think to my little, because I love my little pups, and I love them so much. I can't believe that they don't have a soul, like some people say, right? And they see me in the garden, and he's up on the little platform, right? And she sees me, and she goes, and I know she has to, because for her to get to me, she has to make a plan. She has to go, there he is, and she
Yeah.
goes backwards down the
Yeah.
stairs, around and up, and jumps onto my lap. She had to make
Right.
a plan. There had
Yeah.
to be a plan, right? That was my big reveal moment. They think ahead. They have to.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
impossible.
like we have, like our two dogs that you met,
Yeah.
the one that's still alive is much more food motivated than the other one was. And the one who's not alive anymore is named Izzy. And so Izzy would eat her food really, really slowly because she just didn't really care that much about it.
Yeah.
Telly is the other one, and Telly really wanted her food. And so what she would do is she would be waiting for Izzy to finish her food, and she would go out into the backyard and start barking as if there was something out there. And then Izzy would stop eating and run outside to go see what it was, and Telly would run back in and eat Izzy's food.
That's a heist.
She made that
That's
whole plan.
that's a
Yeah.
planned heist. That's a
Yeah.
robbery right
That's a
there.
smart dog.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's deflection involved there. There's planning, deflection. There's the heist went.
She knows what Izzy will do. She knows that Izzy's going to do that if she goes out and barks.
Yeah, she's already checked out the janitor, what time they get on, what time they get off. She's done the whole thing. That's amazing. Oh, you got Catherine in here. Catherine
Yep.
Gilstrome. Look
Yep,
at
there
her.
she is. Yeah.
I have not seen this before, Julie. Tell us all about it.
Well, she wanted a portrait, or maybe I did that. I don't remember if she commissioned me or not. I kind of think she did, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
That's her with her dog. Yeah. Yeah, she
That
did
dog.
commission me. That's right. I remember.
Oh,
And
Julie,
we
that
went,
dog.
have you ever been in her house?
I have. I
And
have.
did you go to this room upstairs it's like her wolf room?
No, I've been to many rooms. I went all the way to the top to the rooms that weren't even used yet. I've seen those, but I don't
Oh,
remember.
maybe you were there before she had it set up.
Oh, maybe there was definitely rooms at the very top, at the peak that
Yeah,
hadn't
this
been
was at the
decorated yet.
very top. And
Oh,
there
she
was
must
like
have
a
fixed them.
window.
Ah.
Yeah, she had like all this. It was beautiful up there. Anyway, this is like I just made a painting of if she was in her wolf room,
Oh.
and then I have like those wolves that are in the background. It's supposed to look as if maybe she's writing about this, and it's like some kind of astrological um signs in the sky, like how the stars make
Yeah.
constellations, but it's wolves running.
Catherine is wonderful. Two wonderful people right there in that photo.
These
Yeah.
are all oil paintings, right?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Just had to double check. have you ever messed with like anything like watercolor or
Yeah,
acrylics?
I do things with watercolor once in a while, and I used to do, like before I knew Boris, I was very intimidated by oils, even though now it's, why would I feel that way? I realize how friendly the oils are, but I used to feel like it was something that I could never do. And so anyway, I would use acrylics and do things with watercolor and ink and that kind of stuff. But I um, recommend to anybody who feels that way, get over it, because it's not true. Oil is definitely the best.
So contentious, Julie. Careful now. Steady, steady those guns. Because I'm the same. You just got to say it, haven't you? The oils are the king of paints. And just
Yeah,
that's it. The discussion is over. The case is closed. Anyone
yeah.
can see it. It's just silly using anything else, I think. Unless you're doing abstract. For figures,
Well, and I like to use acrylic as a base. Like, see, look, this painting of that bird there in the middle, right?
oh, this one?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I started that. It's a really small painting, and I just did it as an experiment where I used some really bright colors of acrylic, and then I went on top with oil
Ah,
to finish it up and shape it and refine it and everything. But it really gave it a different character to have that acrylic.
was
All
it a
these
better
bright colors
character?
underneath.
Was
What
it
is it?
better? Was it a better
Yeah,
character? Give it? Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And was this just something you painted like out of your head? Did you
Yeah,
use
that was
any?
just, yes.
Okay, because there's a couple of these like animal ones that are like, I don't know, like more abstract like that.
Mhm.
And I think those are really interesting that that's just what you're kind of noodling down
Yeah.
out of your head. I have never seen anything like that.
Oh, really? That's neat. Thank you.
Yeah, like it's just like a new take on, I don't know, just like
Huh.
super interesting, something I'd never seen before, which is that's rare.
That's really cool. Thank you for saying that. It encourages me to do more things. I really love experimenting and just making things up like that, making up creatures.
Yeah, I like
See what
that.
happens.
Wonderful. I was just admiring once again, Julie, your coracoid brachialis right there. You know, everyone thinks they're doing good bodybuilding, but look at that. A rarely seen little muscle with a big knee. These are wonderful, Julie. There's so much good stuff in here, isn't there? I don't know where to start, really. This is unusual to see because you
Yeah,
rarely
that's
get the chance to
That's
do.
Tony
Yeah.
and his painting. Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah.
this is your boys. Do we still
That's
see boys
Yeah,
for?
David's brother, Tony.
Yeah. Do we still say boys for men? I
We
call
do.
my son a boy, and he's like 36.
Yeah.
Do you still call them boys?
Sure.
Yeah, you do.
Hey man, look at this TV show, The Golden Girls. They were like, you know, quite older, and they
Yeah,
were the girls.
they were the girls. Yeah, yeah, really nice. And Winona's an artist too. There's all artists, isn't there? Even
Yes,
in the extended family as well.
right.
Yeah. No, I love this. I love Tony's work actually.
Yeah,
It doesn't get out enough. I want to see more of it.
he started to do more. He was showing at a LuxCon last year, so
Yeah, his colors are fantastic.
yeah.
That heat and then that cool, such a beautiful
Mhm.
transition right down there. Just brings your eye around the painting. Color as composition, that in itself is lost on a lot of people. Color as
True.
composition,
Right.
really nice.
I
Love it.
tend to lean on color a lot that way. I just, I don't know. I really love color.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And that's the
I
great
had
thing. Yeah, go on. Sorry, Rachel.
just like
It's just a
it's a
satellite.
you can I was gonna change topic a little
Go
bit.
ahead.
Uh, I know you said you didn't like to talk, like you're not great with the numbers earlier, but I was just really curious about like what has your most lucrative project been? Like, as are
Well,
there
the
any
big
that
giant
stand
painting,
out?
yeah, the big giant painting I'm still working on is the most expensive painting I've ever done.
Okay.
But aside from that, it would be advertising work.
Okay.
Advertising. It's always
When you're
advertising.
working for a big advertising company, they have a lot of money. And
Okay.
they use your work in such a way that that's that's the way that business is.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have
And
to-
then what's like you go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, yeah, it's just a satellite, Rachel. Yeah, it's also do you find, Julie, when you're working in advertising, it's quite a painful experience, so you really deserve the money they pay?
Yes.
There you go. That's it. That's that whole conversation in a nutshell. You deserve the money they pay you. Look at the size of that big underpainting. Wonderful. Yeah, I do my underpaintings in oils now, Julie. I used to do them in acrylic too, but I think oils are so fast. Going back to the king of things.
True. It could just as well be oils, and
Yeah.
there's really not necessarily a good reason to have. The only reason that I like it in acrylic is that I start with a graphite pencil,
Yeah,
and the acrylic will seal that graphite down
that's
and
right.
keep it from the oil. And so if you have oil on top of your graphite, it's going to eventually float up to the top of the surface.
Yep. Julie's gems. There we go. I'll get
Yeah.
that sound effect on. I'm the same. So for me, it's just oils all the way through. You can wipe that little guy all the way back to the pencil if you need to.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful.
What's do you have like a favorite painting?
Ah,
No.
No. They're all great.
that's a bit diplomatic.
Well, I really do love them all in a different way. It's really, they really are kind of like your children in a way. You know, you've like, I mean, there are paintings that I don't like as much, but it's because I didn't have my heart in it, or it just went wrong and I pushed through anyway, or something like that.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, I
That's the
didn't do
problem.
it for the right reasons. I didn't have it. You know, there are paintings that you do because you think you'll sell it, and then you're like, I shouldn't be doing this unless I have to, you know, because it's just not, it's not going to come out the same if your heart is not in it, if you don't love it.
Yeah.
How do you keep that, I guess? And like
Oh,
I feel like that's difficult.
I mean, I do think most things, there's, you know, even if somebody if you get a commission to do a painting, and this happened to me just recently, that I had a commission. I thought, oh, I can't see myself doing a painting ever of this subject.
oh,
But then, you know, it turned out to be like really very, very enjoyable, because really there's like, what in the world there's nothing that's boring. There's not one single thing in the world that is really boring. I mean, seriously, right?
yeah.
If
Yes.
you look at it long enough and you think about it and you study it and whatever, you want to understand more about it. If I'm being bored, I'm failing as a human to find something that I love. But there are times that I can do that too, you know. So
That's a good mindset. I have to say there was boring stuff for me that I couldn't find joy in, and it was the inside of a washing machine. I couldn't find joy. Julie, I couldn't do it. Could you find joy in drawing the inside of a washing machine?
I mean, you'd have to like start thinking like, okay, I'm not thinking of it as a washing machine. I'm gonna look at, you know, I mean, if you told me I have to add numbers and stuff, no, I'm not gonna find joy in it.
Me too.
I have to figure it out.
Me too.
But yeah.
Yeah, my accountant says to me, how was your projections for next year? And I burst out laughing.
Yeah, it's like, what does that even mean?
Yeah. And she was really quiet, and I felt terrible. I said, sorry, numbers don't compute with me at
Yeah.
all. I have no idea what you mean.
I don't even, you know, right. Like for somebody to say, how much money do you think you're gonna make or whatever, it's like, there is no way to know. It's like, we just don't
Yeah.
operate that way.
Don't operate that way. And it's not in the artist's purview at all, is it? We just go,
No.
no, I don't know what I want to do yet. That
Yeah.
kind of thing. It's a different world. Julie, I'm going to say it. This is my new favorite, Julie, and I'm going to be a stalwart here and say that's it. I stand my ground.
Yes.
There's my new favorite right there.
Good.
So if you can't pick one, I'm picking one.
Oh, this is your favorite?
This is my favorite. This is it.
Oh, cool. Well, I
This is
love
it.
this one too. Yeah, I
Yeah.
do. I really love it.
I mean, who chooses to paint a tiger in a chiaroscuro light like that? Sensational, because you've given it the nobility of a prince right there by choosing.
Because he's in his own world. He's not
Yeah.
posing for you. That's what
That's
I love
right.
about him.
Yeah,
He's doing his own life.
A lesser artist would just take a photograph and draw everything, paint everything they see, and look at the color choices, look at the dark against light. It's brilliant. I love it. It's sublime. It's sublime is what it is, and it has a character too. That's my new favorite. I have favorite of yours. I have a favorite. Can this guy speak English? I have favorite of yours from your fantasy paintings too, and I'm trying to find it, but I can't. But I'll yell out like a child when I see it. Okay, so I'm going to keep going through. Lovely horsefoot. I'll leave it back to the Virginians again. I just pop in once in a while.
Well, I was going to ask for Julie, do you think that the curiosity that you've been speaking about, is that like a mindset that you were born with in turn, like broadly speaking, or is that something that someone can develop or learn?
Gosh, I don't know if they can. I mean, I definitely think I was born very curious. I just have always, I know that. I mean, people have said that to me from as early as I can remember, but I don't know. It's interesting to think if you could develop your curiosity. I mean, you'd have to kind of be curious to want to do that, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It's funny you should say that, Julie, as well. I think that's probably the biggest gift we have. I remember a really miserable politician, and someone described him once as the most incurious person he'd ever met. And,
I
and
know you
everything
might be
made sense to
talking
me.
about.
And I
Yeah.
thought, no matter how poor you are, if you're curious, you've got an incredible gift right there. Because everything's interesting, everything's a wonder, isn't it? Everything.
Yeah.
Little water.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean by like there is nothing that's boring.
Yeah,
And
two
if,
ants.
if we're finding it boring, we're not trying hard enough. That's
Yeah.
all.
That's what my
I
wee woman.
agree with that.
That's what my wee woman says to her students. The students say, "This is boring." She says, "You're boring."
Yeah. Yeah, you're boring.
You're boring for
Yeah.
not finding excitement in it, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about where like people develop their imagination this week and how that happens. And I think that like people who are bored all the time is like working against that. Like if you're always interested, you're always curious, you're always looking for stuff, I think that develops your imagination and that grows as you get older.
That's true.
Or not. Like you have people who stop like like the school system, like the modern school system, you're taught the opposite almost. It's sit down, this is how you're gonna do this, and these are the right answers. That's the wrong way to
these are
do
the
it.
right answers.
Yeah, and then it is boring. School is boring. No one likes that.
That's boring. Yes, that is boring.
I think it's almost like works opposite of that. I don't know. I love seeing more of this side of things in the world.
Yeah. It's true that.
Yeah.
I gotta go back to
I
this.
was not really great in school because I was bored a lot.
Yeah, you're drawing on your stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was stultifying in math class, wasn't it? I used to distract the math teacher and say, because he was a curious person, but I had no interest in maths, and I would distract him every time. I would say, they found a black hole in the universe. He says, Patrick, it's interesting. Did you see that? Because I saw that on, Nationwide the other night too. And we talk about that, and we wouldn't get any numbers done. And I was so happy.
You kind of just learn to like become friends with the math teacher so that they give you like an A. It's not that I can pass the class, but I'm not.
No, he never did. I thought I'm his favorite pupil and his worst pupil. And I thought, you'll do me a kindness, just give me an E.
Yeah.
Because he's binary. He just goes, no, Patrick failed. He's a funny guy.
That's you sitting on our couch with Izzy.
Yes. This is my favorite photo.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm in it. It's just this wonderful moment in time that was happening.
It is nice.
Yeah. And I was an unexpected photo too, because we had a guest with us, and he took it. Tim took that photo.
Yeah.
I didn't notice he took it.
Tim.
Okay, Julie. Well, we'll say goodbye.
You know what? It's been amazing to hang out with you guys, and I just love this. And so let's do it again.
Please, Julie, do. Please do. It would be wonderful. It's been wonderful. So we'll do our goodbyes. So I'm going to do a Salancha, the Virginians.
See y'all later.
See y'all later.
Julie.
See y'all later, Salancha.
All at once. There you go.
And adios.
Adios. Okay, Julie. Thanks very much. I'll see you all again, guys.
Okay.
All
Bye-bye.
right.